Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Tami, the creator of the blog and this YouTube channel called Nutmeg Notebook, and this is where I share with you all about a whole food plant-based lifestyle. So I decided to do this live today because I was getting so many questions about intermittent fasting. Once I announced on Instagram and Facebook that I was going to be starting a 10-day intermittent fasting program today. Today's day one, and I asked people if they wanted me to post about it. Oh my goodness, so many people responded. I was overwhelmed with the response that I got. There is a lot of interest in, why are you doing this? What is it? How did you decide to do this? What's happening? So I thought, well, the best way to answer all those questions is just to do a video rather than me trying to type out the same answers over and over and over again. So thank you guys so much for your interest in this. I am super excited about this, and so let's talk about it. First of all, if you want to ask questions, you can ask questions in the chat feed. So I have my computer here open and I'll be watching. If you have questions, if you could preface them with 3 question marks and end with 3 question marks, that'll just help the questions to pop out for me, and that would be great. So I am whole food, plant-based, SOS free, which stands for salt, oil, and sugar free, and I have been plant-based since 2013, and I love this way of eating. I was able to finally get to my healthy weight and maintain it since 2015, and corrected my high cholesterol, and my osteoarthritis knee pain went away, and my constant headaches, and so many amazing benefits from going plant-based. So we recently interviewed Sia Hurst from 6D Living, and that is the name of her website, and links to everything I'm talking about will be in the description of the YouTube video. So underneath the YouTube video, depending on what device you're looking at, watching this on, it'll either be a down arrow or it might say see more, and you can look there and find links to the different things that I talk about today. And if I've missed anything, I'll go in and try to add it after the show. So I decided, after talking to Sia Hurst and looking at her website, and I saw that she did some online fasting programs. Well, I have wanted to go to True North Health Center for quite some time to do a water fast there, but my schedule just won't allow it right now. And so this is a modified intermittent fasting. So first, let's talk about what is fasting. What is intermittent fasting? So intermittent fasting is also known as intermittent energy restriction. So it's any kind of various meal timing schedule that cycles between voluntarily fasting and non-fasting over a certain amount of period of time. So there's different ways to do that. There can be alternate day fasting, periodic fasting, or daily time restricted feeding. Now, I already just naturally do intermittent fasting on a daily basis, probably since maybe about 2017, 2018, maybe sometime in there. I just finally realized that I really wasn't hungry for breakfast at breakfast time when I would first get up in the morning, and I was just eating breakfast out of habit or because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And so I decided I'm going to start listening to my body and eat when I'm actually hungry, and that is usually at lunchtime. And so I'm already just naturally doing about a 16 to 17 hour fast every day. And so what that means is I'm usually done eating for the day by 7 o'clock at night. And then I don't normally eat again until the next day at noon. And so that's just naturally what feels good to me and right to me and how my body likes to operate. That is actually called intermittent fasting. So it is a form of calorie restriction, but only for a certain amount of time, not for a very long, prolonged amount of time. So it's a cycle between times of feeding or not feeding, and this can be very beneficial for your health as well as for weight loss. So I'm on a 10-day modified intermittent fasting program, and it is focused on immunity, improving our body's immunity, and also improving gut health, which, you know, there's been so much talk about this in the plant-based community in I would say the last year or so, about our gut biome and how important it is to our overall health. And so this is just another way of focusing on that and improving on it. So then the question is, well, why are you wanting to do it? Somebody posted on Instagram or Facebook and said, well, you eat healthy already. I'm so surprised that you're doing something like this. And somebody else said, well, you must really have some health issues if you're doing something as drastic as this. And no, I don't have any major health issues. I have some things that I would like to improve on and that I would like to correct. And after reading about the benefits of doing this, I thought this would be really good for me. So what are those things? So I had an infection and I went on 3 different rounds of antibiotics. And the nurse practitioner that I saw at one of my appointments said, I just want you to know that, because she knew I was whole food plant-based and very health conscious, and she said, I just want you to know that it could take at least 2 years to fix your gut biome after being on so many antibiotics. I was like, wow, okay, I had no idea. No idea. Well, since that happened, I have had issues with digesting beans and cruciferous vegetables. And there are periods of time that I go without eating any beans. I'll like make a soup or a stew or something with no beans in it just to try to give my gut a little bit of a break. And so I'm hoping that by doing the intermittent fasting and focusing on foods that help repair the microbiome and build it up, as well as build up immunity, that it will help with that. Also, many of you know that Tom and I went on a cruise around the Greek Isles back in late October, early November, and I have motion sickness, and I was on the scopamine patches for the whole 10 days we were on the cruise. And when we came back, I had a really difficult time transitioning off of those, and I just haven't felt that great since we got back from the trip. So I'm also hoping that this will help my immune system and just help my body get back to the level that I want it to be. So if you want to hear a great interview with Sia, who I am following for this program, we interviewed her a couple of weeks ago, and so you'll find that like 2 videos back, and you can watch that. So she has 3 different modified fasting programs. I'm taking the one that is for it's called Protect Immunity, and within that program there's 3 different levels that you can choose to do. So the modified fasting program is you have a set amount of hours per day that you do not eat food, and then you have a feeding window. So the 3 choices on her program are a 16-8, which means for 16 hours out of the day you don't eat, And for 8 hours, that's your feeding window. Or there's the 18-6, where for 18 hours out of the day, you are not eating and you have a 6-hour window. Or there is the 24, which is 20 hours of not eating out of the day, and you have a 4-hour window for eating. I chose the middle one because I already do 17 hours a day, so I thought, well, I can push myself one more hour and gain a little bit of additional benefit. Plus, I think it's good to kind of test my ability on this, and so I decided to go with the 18-6. So what this means for me is that I'm going to be finished eating at 7 o'clock at night, and I try to be done before then, but we have some days where we're babysitting the grandchildren, and so we might have to eat later, and I want to make sure that I allow myself that time. So I won't eat from 7 o'clock at night until 1 p.m. the next day, which, you know, it sounds like a really long time when you think of that's 18 hours, but for a good portion of that, I'll be asleep. And then my mornings are very busy, and so it's very easy for me to not eat during that time. So there are some benefits that I'd like to point out to you when you do an intermittent fasting program. There's all kinds of wonderful changes that happen in the body, and there's lots of scientific documentation for this. One change is that the level of the insulin growth hormone, which is known as IGF-1, goes down. And high levels of IGF-1 are associated with accelerated aging and the development of cancer cells. So reducing your IGF-1 is a really great thing. And Dr. Joel Fuhrman talks a lot about IGF-1 in his book, Eat to Live, which was one of the first books about plant-based lifestyle that I read. Also, genes that function to repair the body are turned on when you fast. So the body needs to be in tip-top shape when there is a food scarcity. That is just part of our built-in survival mechanism. So the stress of not eating causes the body to kick in and repair any damage and try to get you to be as healthy as possible so that you can go out and forage for food for survival. So that's a really awesome benefit. The third thing that happens is an increase in insulin sensitivity. So insulin resistance is associated with type 2 diabetes, and high levels of insulin lead to excessive fat storage. So this is a really good thing because it will help with the insulin sensitivity. Now, if you want to read more about just intermittent fasting in general, if you go to the True North Health Center website, there's a really wonderful article on there about intermittent fasting. In fact, I just Googled intermittent fasting True North Health Center, and the article came right up. It's written by Dr. Jennifer Morano, and she's married to Dr. Goldhammer, who we all know and love. And she states that the literature that she researched shows the value of intermittent fasting both for weight control as well as your general health. So, and in there she says that in our modern society today, we've adapted and expect to eat 3 hearty meals a day with some snacks, coffee breaks, and treats built into each and every day. But that's not how our ancestors ate. They actually had periods of time where food was scarce, and they either ate very little or they had an intermittent fasting period. So is it unhealthy to intermittent fast? Absolutely not, because when we eat more food than we need, we know that that gets stored as fat. And those fat stores are there for when we don't have enough food to eat, then our body will dip into the stored fat to fuel us. Unfortunately, most of us are feeding ourselves constantly all day and all evening until we go to bed, and our body never has a chance to dip into those fat stores. So when you are doing intermittent fasting, then it allows your body to do how it was made to function, and to, if you have any fat stores, to dip into them and use them. So on the 60 Living Immunity Program, we have certain daily protocols that we're going to be doing. And so today is our first official day of the intermittent fasting. So of course we're going to be choosing, everyone chose what program they wanted to follow, what level of intermittent fasting. And then we also are incorporating meditation, dry brushing of the skin before bathing, some Tibetan rites, movements, just gentle movements of the body. And then the objective of the whole program is that we are going to be reducing inflammation. And that's another thing that I want to do, is to reduce inflammation, because since we got back from our trip to Greece, I've had some just some residual sciatic nerve pain in my leg again, and I don't want that to get out of control. I want to get rid of that. Also, the intermittent fasting program flushes the GI tract. It boosts the immune system, improves the microbiome health, and also just allows the organs to rest and relax. And to do this, we're drinking plenty of water every day. We're taking in flax and chia seeds. We're using apple cider vinegar and lemon juice. The foods that we are eating are all anti-inflammatory foods. We are practicing our intermittent fasting on 8 of the 10 days, and then 2 of the days we are actually doing water fasting only, but only on 2 days, and they're not consecutive. It's broken up. We're using all whole food plant nutrition, absolutely no processed foods, and then we're having daily group calls on Zoom with Sia. And that was another reason I wanted to do this program, is because then I'm doing it with a group of people. I've paid to join it, and I am making a commitment to Sia and to the group that is there, that I'm going to be doing this with them, and also just knowing that I have the support of the group. So if there is a difficult day, or I don't know, just being accountable and having that group support is just so important. Just like it's important for us to have the community when we're doing the plant-based lifestyle, in a world that doesn't support that, having the supportive community of like-minded people is just a really important piece to have. And so I'm going to check the questions here. TS says, does she address in her program about taking pills in the morning with food? That would be a conversation that you could have with her. As you guys know, I am hypothyroid, and I take levothyroxine or Synthroid every morning. And of course, I'm able to just take that with water. And so, that's the first thing I do upon rising, is take my medication. But you would be able to talk to her and see, if that can be accommodated. And TS says, are her programs guided, or can you start at any time? No, they are at set times. And so this one just started today and goes for 10 days, but she does a 10-day program every month at the beginning of the month. And so you would be able to take like the one in March. And I also have a discount code for you down in the description of the show. So she is offering a 25% discount to the followers of Nutmeg Notebook for the spring fasting programs that she has. And so there would either be one in March or in April that you could still get in on and do. Can you have beet boost, tea, or veggie broth in the morning before 1 p.m.? The 6 hours you eat, is your goal to have the same food you already prep? No. Very good question. So no beet boost. You can have regular like black tea or green tea or white tea or plain black coffee, because none of those will break your fast. It's okay to drink those no-calorie beverages and they won't break your fast. But you cannot have any food, juice, or broth until your fasting period is over. And so you can drink water with lemon juice or with apple cider vinegar. So that's how we start the morning, is by having, you can have a hot or cold, but it's winter, so I'm having hot water with some lemon juice in it, and that's how I'm starting my day. Let's see. And so it is very guided. What you get is you get, she sends you a PDF. So you get a whole PDF explaining the program. You get a chart for every day, what we're doing for the day, and this is for the week, but then there's charts in here for every day for what we're doing, and so that everything is spelled out. And then we also have a Zoom call every morning, each of the 10 days, to talk about what we're doing. She answers any of our questions. And you also get a 20-minute consult before the program starts to talk about any concerns that you have. And you can always write to her and ask her questions. Now I'm going to show you. She also provides you with the menu, and we're eating the same thing every day for 10 days. And she gives you all of the recipes ahead of time for what to make. And so I batch prepped on Saturday for the program because that was the day that I had available. And let me show you. So Tom, I'm going to show them what I made. So first, let's see. Okay, here we go. I've got the picture there. And so you make the broth that we're going to eat, and it's full of lots of wonderful vegetables that are good for inflammation and good for your immunity. And then the next photo that I'm going to show you is, and then after you've made the broth, then here are all the vegetables that come out of the broth, and you are going to incorporate these into a stew that you make. And that stew has lentils in it, so I cooked up the big batch of lentils, and then those got stirred in with all of the wonderful vegetables that I used for the broth, and then those got put into I made a stew with those, and I put those in containers. We're eating a lot of different grains so that we can feed our gut biome. So this is Dr. Greger's Small, which is the gluten-free version of his brole, I think he calls it. So this was sorghum and oat groats and I can't think of the something else, but I can't think of it right now. But 3 different grains that I cooked in the Instant Pot to put in there. And then this is the broth that I made, and it's delicious. So I had 2 cups of that this morning or this afternoon before my lunch, and it was delicious. And then we're also utilizing freshly ground flaxseed and chia seeds, which I ground up for the week ahead of time. And so I had, this is what I had to break my, after, to break the fast. So today I had 2 cups of the broth that I made, and I had 2 cups of arugula with blueberries with a little bit of apple cider vinegar on them. And then I had the stew that I made along with those 3 different grains. And then I also added 2 cups of spinach to that. And super satisfying. The broth tasted amazing. And you guys, when you fast and then you eat, the food tastes so much better. And so it like gives your taste buds a reset. And when you eat when you're truly hungry, that is actually the best seasoning there is, because it just tastes incredible. And so Tom, I'm done with the photos. And so lunch was really, it was a lot of food, and you have to sequence it. The first thing you have is the broth, and then you have the greens and the blueberries and the apple cider vinegar, and then you have the stew and the grains and the greens with that. And it's just really, it was very satisfying and delicious. And then I'll be having more grains and greens and mushrooms and onions for dinner. And you can combine those in different ways. So anyway, I'm just super excited about doing this, and I feel great now. And there is a 5-day optional prep that you can do to prepare for going on the modified intermittent fasting. And I also did that. And the first couple days are it's just about eating whole food, plant-based, and not having processed foods. And then yesterday was all raw foods. So I just made myself for my first meal of the day yesterday was at lunchtime, and I made a smoothie with a bunch of different greens and blueberries and a banana and flaxseed and chia seeds in it, and it was delicious, and it made a ton. And I had that, and that held me until dinner. And then for dinner, I just took one of my salads and chopped it up and added vinegar to it, and just added, cucumbers and different things, different veggies, raw veggies, to make it taste delicious. And I had that, and then I felt great this morning. And so far, it's easy. But I'll check back in with everybody and let you know how it's going, maybe like midway into doing this week, and let you know how it's going and how I feel. But I'm sure that it's going to help with reducing inflammation, and we know that it's going to help boost my microbiome in my gut and help my gut health. And then we'll just see how it goes from there. And so I also wanted to tell you that on the True North Health website, where Dr. Morano talks about the benefits of intermittent fasting, she also talks about how it can help people who have plateaued on their weight. And so how a lot of people get to the last 10 or 15 pounds, and then they struggle to get to, their goal weight. Sometimes the intermittent fasting can just be the catalyst that helps them get there. And so, you might, if you're having any issues with that, you might consider doing intermittent fasting and see if that makes a difference for you. And there's lots of different ways to do it. And you can do a program where you're not, not having to be supervised to do it. So TS says, so no deviation from her recipes are allowed. That's correct, because everything has been chosen for you to benefit whatever it is, whatever she's working on at that time. So this one, we're focused on increasing our immunity and our gut biome. So everything has been chosen purposefully to help with that. And so, Smilene says, do you think you will continue doing some sort of intermittent fasting once the 10 days are done? Well, I will certainly continue to intermittent fast on a daily basis, because that's what my body really likes to do. And I've already been doing a regimen where I intermittent fast for 17 hours. And I'll probably go back to the 17 hour that I do, just because that fits my lifestyle really well and gives me a little more flexibility. The 6-hour eating window is a little bit tight for me, but absolutely doable for 10 days. I mean, we can do anything for 10 days. Karen says, I couldn't do raw in the winter. It's much more difficult, I think, if you live in a very cold climate. Absolutely. But what you can do is you can drink hot water with lemon in between in order to keep you warm. Also, when you're doing this, the intermittent fasting, and then just the 2 days where you're water fasting, you can still work and pull that off. And, you can still exercise. I walked 4 miles this morning outside with Tom. So, Carol Lee says, excited for you. Look forward to seeing how you do. I've been on a lot of antibiotics for UTIs, and I also have vertigo. Yeah, that's tough. Okay, let's see. TS says, Gina, I'm one of those wimpy Californians, laughing out loud. It's 70 and I'm wearing a shirt and 2 sweatshirts. I'm always cold. I hear you. I'm always cold too. And I chalk that up to my hypothyroidism and the fact that I don't have all the extra fat that I used to have that used to keep me warm. It was like insulation. That is so fun. So, Tom's answering some questions as well. Did I miss a question, Tom?
And underneath TS.
Are you worried that the lentils would disagree with you given your recent issues? No, because lately I've been doing okay with a little bit of lentils and a little bit of beans. And lentils, for some reason, I have an easier time with lentils than I do with some beans. And garbanzo beans don't seem to bother me. So isn't that interesting? It's usually black beans and pinto beans or other types of beans, but I'm doing fine.
Look for one from Anne. She's got a question mark at the end.
Okay. Millet. Yes, Gina, it was millet. Thank you. The grains that I made had millet in them. The broth looks awesome. You know what? It was delicious. It was just really rich tasting and delicious. And actually, I made that on Saturday. And of course, I tasted it Saturday to see what it tasted like. And it's so much better and more flavorful today. So arugula and blueberries, I could not do this all day. Oh, wait. So it was actually very good. The blueberries and the arugula, because the arugula are a little bit bitter, and it was actually good with the little bit of apple cider vinegar. Okay, I'm looking for that question, Tom. Okay, what were the other programs besides the immunity ones? And so if you go to her site, if you go to 6D Living, you can look at what the other programs are. So I think there's a cleanse. I can't remember right now. But if you go to 6D Living, you can look at what the March and April programs are. So Anne wants to know, will you be able to hike still? No, I wouldn't go for I wouldn't go for a hike probably not on the day that we fast. And I probably wouldn't go for a hike for the next 10 days. Just because you could get lightheaded. I wouldn't be able to eat until 1 o'clock. And when we're going to go do the heavy hiking, I do like to have some oats or something before we head out on the trail. So no, I won't be hiking this week, but I'm planning on continuing to do my 4-mile walk. I may have to slow down, but I'm just going to pay attention to my body and listen to what my body says is okay to do. Misty Blue says, is intermittent fasting more difficult the more active you are? I don't know. I'm a very active person, and I naturally do the 17-hour intermittent fasting every day. I don't like to exercise on a full stomach, so I exercise first thing in the morning. This morning I did a 4-mile walk, and it took me an hour and 4 minutes, so that was like 16-minute miles that I did. So I feel like that's, pretty active walking. And I do that every day. And I intermittent fast 17 hours every day. And so, so I'm still able to do that. Now, if you're a runner or something like that, that could be a different story. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you about this. I'm super excited about doing this program. I'm excited about developing some different habits. And so, and we talk about that, like, what do you want to achieve? What are your goals? And so one of my goals in this is to start my day with meditation and end my day with meditation instead of what I have been doing, which is social media. And I usually, wake up, grab my phone, check Facebook, check Instagram, and start answering people's questions, check my email, answer people's questions, and then I end the day that way. And so one of my goals this year is to focus more on myself, my own personal well-being, and do things for me. I'm one of those people who always puts everyone else's health or needs before my own. And so one thing that I want to incorporate as a new habit is to start my morning out with meditation instead of social media. And I want to end my day with meditation instead of social media. So, so that's one habit that I'm working on. Successfully started this morning with meditation and plan to end today with meditation. And so I'm excited about doing that and incorporating more of mindfulness into my daily life and just doing more things for me. You can't keep feeding other people unless you feed yourself. And so that is one of the things that I want to do. So if you guys want, let me know if you want more, what do I want to say? If you want more updates on how I'm doing, I could do another live after a few days, see how I'm doing, and I could do another live and let you guys know how that's going.
Asked that in chat. They already said yes.
Oh, okay. Tom said he asked you that in the chat, and you guys already said yes, that you want me to do that. And then if you're interested in knowing more about 6D Living and Sia, be sure to watch the interview that we did with her a couple of weeks ago. It's here on YouTube. And then visit her website, 6D Living. The link to it is in the description below the video. And also there's a discount code if you want to do one of her March or April fast. There is a discount code that would be good for either one of those. And she's fabulous. And she's just making this so much fun. And Misty Blue says, I want to know more about your sleep improvement. Yeah, I'm thinking that this is going to help my sleep. I'm not a good sleeper. And so, I don't sleep a lot at night. And so I'm hoping that this will improve on that as well, because I know how important that is for our overall health. And so I want to focus on improving that as well. Like somebody said to me, you are so healthy and you're already doing so many things right. I can't believe you're doing this. Well, there's always room for improvement, right? So after I read Dr. B's book about gut health, I thought, oh my gosh, I could improve on my gut health. I need to incorporate more different grains and different greens weekly into my diet to keep my gut biome healthy. And, instead of getting in the rut and eating the same things week after week after week, I need to, think about feeding those little critters that are in my gut and making sure that I keep as many of them alive as I can. So if we keep learning and growing and increasing our knowledge, then we find out that there is still room for improvement, And I am not perfect. I have plenty of room to improve, even with my diet, my sleep, and my exercise. And so I think that doing something organized like this for me really helps me follow through and do it. So, all right. TS says, no question, but please just keep us updated. Absolutely, I will. Mary Jo says, Sia was very inspiring. Thank you for introducing her to us. You are welcome. She is absolutely amazing. Tom says that she just sprinkles fairy dust everywhere she goes on everyone, and she does. And so I'm super excited about the next 10 days. I'll check in with you guys in a few more days. And no, Misty Blue, I will not be drinking Beet Boost during this time. I am absolutely following the protocols that are a part of this modified fasting program. And so I am eating exactly what Sia has said that we need to eat. And I am drinking exactly what she says that we need to drink. So I have my water right here. And so I'm doing the program as written because I want to have the best benefits from it that I possibly can. And I'll resume having Beet Boost after the 10 days. And then we'll see after the 10 days what I decide to change about my diet. And like I said, I'm just going to listen to my body, what my body's telling me, and see how things go. And I'm doing this with a very open mind and see where it leads me, because you never know. Let's see.
Ryan wants to know about notifications. Ryan Hathaway.
Somebody wants to, how do you find out about when they're doing a live chat ahead of time? Well, so if you click on the bell, so subscribe to our channel, and then if you click on the bell, the little bell icon, when we go live, you will get a notification from YouTube that we're going live. And today, what, Tom?
Facebook notification.
Yeah, and today I did an Instagram and a Facebook notification an hour and a half or so ago and said, hey, we're going to go live. Check it out. And I put a link there. So if you don't follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you might want to follow Nutmeg Notebook there, and I always try to do a post before we do a live just to let some people know. But of course, the live will still be here as a replay. And so if you miss notification that we're going live, if you just check our channel, you'll see anything that's new. Okay.
We sign up for the email list, but we won't be doing notifications on this email.
Yeah, if you sign up, if you go to nutmegnotebook.com and subscribe, we do send out an email on Sundays letting you know what's happening and reminding you that we have a live show on Sunday when we go live. And so, but for something like this, we usually just do a Facebook and Instagram notification. And then those people who follow us on YouTube who've clicked that bell, they get a notification when we go live. So, okay, Gina says, oops, gotta go. See ya later. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I think I captured everybody's questions, and we'll do another update in a few days and let you know how I'm doing further into the program. And thank you so much for being here today. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click that bell icon, go to nutmegnotebook.com and check us out there. And if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I am posting on there as well. And I'm Tami, and I help you get healthy and stay healthy, one meal at a time. See you next time. Bye, everybody.